Hello, beauty. We wanted to share a little bit about the conversation of the art of seduction and kind of going into a little bit of a deeper dive of a conversation about why is this important right now, a little bit about our own personal history of the energetic of the seductress, maybe what we've learned from society or other standards, and also what's possible now. And this is an interesting piece, and what inspired me to want to create this event and get Rina to come on board and say yes too was because I had a very personal journey last year where I was with a man that I was following, and I was in a very vulnerable moment, and he really called out the seductress energy in me and claimed it to be demonic and vilified it and made it very bad and wrong. And I was at such a weak place within myself that I literally cut that piece out and away and off of me. And it was a very painful time of my life. It took me a year really of healing and processing. And this event isn't because of that, but it's in learning that as I created the event about the temptress, I recognize that that's the piece of me that I am resurrecting once again. And the seductress has many different components and elements that stretch back through history, mythology, the siren's call and all of these things about the women that lure the men away, and she's doing all of these things. And it is a superpower that we have as women. And there's been a lot of misunderstandings about it, misuse of that power that we have. And so I wanted to open up this conversation for you to know where we're coming from, and then maybe see how it touches you as well in your life that you can relate to, or maybe you've seen in other women in your life as role models growing up. And so, Rina started to share in our other video how she grew up in Russia, and very, very different culture, very different politics. Everything is so uniquely different from where it is in the United States. And Rina, what would you say is kind of had been your experience with the seductress growing up there?
It's a huge topic, and the relationship to the seductress within me is still growing, unfolding, and evolving, because I had all kinds of ups and downs, and very similar to what you described. I had some very bad experience as I was growing up. I was shown that women can use our sexual seductress power for our advantage and get guys to buy us gifts and give us what we want. And there was this kind of model of relationship where like a really wealthy guy meets a supermodel kind of like looking woman, and they are a great couple. And like we were, without even recognizing and understanding, even as teenagers, we were trying to model this kind of relationships. Like really all women were trying to be super sexy and beautiful and seduced like wealthy guys, and I was one of them. And I remember how I felt so insecure as a human, as a person, not really seeing my value and recognizing my value as a seductress as the only thing I can do. And we're going to model school for that, recognizing that like I can be really pretty and get things that I want because I'm pretty, and I can just play with my looks and beauty and seduce others into doing things that I want them to do. And once I finally came to United States and I had a chance to see different culture, different ways of relating, that it doesn't have to be this way, it can be different. That's when I started to really question and introspect, and I shift my polarity in the opposite. Like I recognize that I'm so disgusted by this play, and I don't want to be part of it. I really like shut this down. I didn't want to see this in myself, this playfulness, this kind of like it's just this femininity, I would say. Yes, I feel like the work that comes is really shutting down your femininity in a way when you shut down the seductress aspect in yourself. And then I became a dominatrix. And funny enough, as I shut this down in myself, all of a sudden I'm being hired to play that role. All of a sudden, men there who actually want to pay me so I can tease them, seduce them, deny them, do all these things. And like, why do you want me to do this? Like, well, our wives wouldn't do it. They are being like very, masculine, proper women who are, yeah, they wouldn't do those things. They are housewives or they're professionals, business women, whatever, whoever they are, but they are not seductresses. So we want you to play the role of that. And like, then I started to play, and that was so interesting to see how a part of me was denying this side of me. And then all of a sudden I was invited to embrace this part of me and really see myself being so appreciated and seeing just having so much fun with this in the shadows of our dungeon. So to speak. So this brings this whole topic of shadow work and dungeons and hiding things from the plain sight of society and doing things behind the closed doors of dungeons. And yes, whatever we are denying goes into dungeons, figuratively and literally speaking. We are taking our shadows in the dungeons and they get to play out in the shadow places. So my biggest lesson from all of this is don't deny yourself, don't deny anything, bring awareness to this, use it mindfully, use it wisely, use it consciously, and that will be beautiful if you just embrace it and really understand how everything you are is your superpower. Nothing that you feel naturally is given to you as mistake. You are wonderful in your seductress nature, in your Kali raging goddess nature, and it's the key is not to hide it, not to reject it, not to suppress it. And that's why I'm super thrilled how Jessica initiated this idea of bringing the seductress element into shadow explorations of our retreats, because we not only we want to meditate, contemplate, transcend, and purge some things that we no longer want in ourselves, but we also want to embrace something beautiful, something feminine, the power to manifest the desired, the power to play in this world, the power of embracing our most mysterious, beautiful, and sexy features of being a woman. And yeah, I'd like you to share a bit more, Jessica, how you're going to do this, because this is actually your gift that you're bringing. And I'm really honored to be a part of it, because I'm not only a facilitator, I'm going to also learn something new from you, I'm sure. So please share just a glimpse of what you feel like bringing into this event as far as the seductress manifestation.
Thank you. And thank you for that reflection. And I can relate so much to it as well. And I grew up in a Catholic household. So there was a lot of repression and suppression. And also my mother, and God bless my mother, but she was a notorious flirt. Growing up, I didn't know this until, a few years ago, that she was a very, very flirtatious growing up. And that is what I learned. That's what I modeled, was this flirtatiousness and having so many crushes on boys, and being very playful, and also being very scared. Like I didn't have my first actual boyfriend until college. So having this piece of flirting, and then realizing, I'm like, wow, I don't think a guy I actually like knows that I actually like him, because I'm flirting with so many people. And so kind of going into these shadow dances and the different kind of dynamics of power and play of utilizing my beauty, and then being in sales and being in that kind of environment as an adult, and learning how to, and then those kinds of shadowy dynamics anyways, between who I need to get the sale from, and then how I show up. And it didn't matter if it was a man or a woman. I'm a flirt no matter with whoever it is. But there's something about, am I doing it to get something, or am I doing it because that's, the essence of who I am? And is it from a playful place and not there to cause harm? And so a lot of it was also conscious awareness. I just wasn't aware. I wasn't aware of how my behavior would impact others, positively or, well, obviously I could see if they were drawn to me, but, I was also doing it from a place that I so much wanted to be seen, and I so much wanted to have men desire me. And but it also, like Rita said, it was coming from a hollow place of, feeling that their allure to me would fill something up within me. And so it's been a dance. And then I also got very, also like Rena, I shut that down in myself. I wanted to set up very firm boundaries. I didn't want anyone to misunderstand me. I didn't want to mislead. And so I went from like on to off. And that was very hard. And then men would still break the boundaries. They would still, like, come and cross over to those waters that are very murky and unfamiliar. You understand that there's the clear line boundaries, and then there's a lot of gray area. So how to navigate those gray areas. And what I've come to realize is that it is in our nature as women. And another thing is too, a lot of us are afraid to be in our femininity because it can attract the predator. It can attract the predator in the male element, energetic, and it's scary because we haven't been taught what to do with it, and so many things can go in so many different directions with it. And so I believe too, a lot of us as women have shut that down. We've shut down our femininity. We didn't want to attract that kind of attention or energy, and also afraid of that power in us and afraid of what was coming to us. So it's almost better to just shut everything off and not be feminine and just cover ourselves up and head to toe and not step into our femininity and just be as bland as possible to not draw attention to ourselves. That's that's been my kind of personal experience. Um, and when I was told last year that, that you're a seductress, and you've got a demon inside of you and you're a danger to men in this space. And I just stripped myself of all of my femininity. I stripped myself of everything. I went on to TikTok and I deleted all of my videos that I had. And one of my videos that's about the goddess and awakening the goddess in you. And this is a very beautiful, seductive video. It was seen over 1.5 million times. There's something about the transmission in it. And it wasn't coming from a
Mm,
place that I was trying to get something from people. I was inviting them to like awaken and open this peace inside of them. And so to have this man who was misogynistic and patriarchal, and how he viewed me was in a very narrow minded way, or narrow viewed way. And and where I was at the depth, I was very low in all of the levels of my being at that moment. And I just took that in. It was like just getting a direct hit to my heart. So I cut that piece off. And so what's been coming back up is this resurrection of how to show up as a seductress from a place of play, how to be the seductress from a place of magnetization, because, learning how
mm,
it, you are going to draw that in. And you know what? Okay, how do we play with this dynamic? How do we play with the opportunities that are going to come in, and how do we welcome that into our space, and feeling safe to be that, and knowing that this is part of our almost like our birthright as feminine beings, if we choose to accept that, is the way that we can interact and play with that with others. And I'm very much about, again, play and creating a space where we can all get messy, be clumsy, make mistakes, feel shy, move through our emotions about it, our shame stories. These are the things that set us free. It is in the silence that shame just proliferates. So if there's been moments where maybe we did take advantage and we did act pretty to like get that drink or have that thing bought for us, or whatever it was, and maybe we utilize that as a tool of manipulation. And even the word manipulation has taken on a negative connotation. Manipulate is just to change something, it's just to apply something to a certain thing. It's not inherently bad. So to understand how to apply these things now as conscious aware, with intent, with really our desire. And that's the thing too, is feeling permission to truly feel our desires and to play with it and to call that in, and from a place of purity. And I experienced that at a women's retreat I did in 2018. It changed my life, and I left there feeling so sensual. And I wasn't trying to pull anyone in. I was just that, just like how I ate my food and how I tasted the raspberry in my mouth and the sensuality of it. And I could see that everyone in the restaurant was watching me, but I wasn't doing it to be watched. I was doing it because I was enjoying the moment and experiencing the sensuality of it. And so there's a shift in difference in trying to get something from people and just naturally being that magnetizer. So how I see this event is
Mm.
like, if you've felt shy or ashamed or worried, or maybe you didn't have good role models to show you, and in even what we see in media and all around, like, it's all okay. All of you is welcome, and there's a space here. The superpower of the seductress, she cannot be denied. When you know how to utilize it, you will draw that in. And so, they say with great power comes great responsibility. This is a superpower that you have the ability to access and to get to play with and hone in and fine tune to really draw in what maybe you would like to call into your life. And whatever blockages you've had, again, this is a great reason to have me, and especially Rena here, because she is all about the dark work. I am too, all about it's not even shadow, it's shadow play. It's going into those places. Rena's talked about that too, that this is all play.
I love how you describe it, and it's incredible that we are bringing light to something that is so has so much stigma in this world and has so much potential for misuse. And how can we embrace this power within us so we can use it intentionally? We can use it with a great intention to really benefit ourselves in the world. Like, how can we really use it from our hearts? And I don't want to say that I've completely mastered that. And I feel like we're all going to master it together in this journey, because there are different levels and different layers, and there is always something new that you can learn about yourself in this realm. There's a new different blockage that you can release, quite possibly, or you can have a different insight. So yes, I feel like it's a really great avenue for understanding yourself better and for embodying the goddess within yourself, the beauty, the femininity. So I'm really grateful for you, Jessica, to bring this as a theme for this upcoming goddess gathering we have.
Mm, thank you. I think there's a resurrection piece that we can all, or reclamation that we can all have. And throughout history, again, it's been the seductresses that have been vilified. And yet, what if we are able to change the light and the perspective of that, and how we can show up in this world and utilize that energy for beauty, for creating good, and also inviting others into a deeper level of access into themselves, and making it feel okay to have arousal and feel okay to have desire, and that it's safe and it's allowed and it's celebrated, and to be that, because we've shut ourselves down so much that actually the more turned on we are, the more that comes to us. The more turned on we are, the higher our frequency, the higher our vibration, and the more turned on we are with life, is just the more that it just pulls
Mm.
in those things into us. And so this is what's available to you. And I know it can seem scary, and I'm on the other side of a multi-year journey. So no matter where you're at, it's okay. Like, you're going to have an amazing time. You're going to be in a safe space. You're going to experience the transmission, the embodiment of what that is. And you're able to see it in others. You're able to feel it in yourself. And once you get that energetic, once you are able to feel it in your body, it's not a mind thing, it's an energetic, it's an embodiment. When you have it in your body, it's there, and you know it, and you can turn it on. So this is just a little.
Oh, I love how you said it. I was just feeling it. I was just getting so infused with this already. So much juiciness and aliveness in this sharing. And I feel like we all need it. More juiciness, aliveness, and femininity into our lives. Oof, definitely need
Yes.
it.
Yes, we need it. It is time. So thank you for Rina for joining me in this conversation, and thank you for watching this and taking the time to do it. Again, like we need more people lit up, and if you get lit up and then someone else sees you and they get lit up, because the more of us that are in our joy, the more of us that are in our turn on, the more we can change the tide and the consciousness of where to really focus. And as Rina had said before in the other video, that we can meditate and we can transcend, and all of that is also so important. But we also came here to have a human experience. We came here to be in these bodies, and our soul said yes, and our body said yes to this calling of being here at this time. And it's such an invitation for you to really open yourself up to femininity in a really beautiful, sacred, juicy, playful, sexy way that is so vibrant and is so you. So if you feel the call, definitely fill out the application form, come and join us. We would so look forward to having you be a part of our journey together into really owning the temptress in ourselves. Thank you so much. Playful. It's gonna be so good. Thank you, Rina.
Thank you. Oh, that was nice.